Councilman Ed Driggs, City Council District 7.
District 7.
I'm not
You
actually.
got a constituent here that's going to grill you.
That's
Hope you're prepared.
I actually sort of crashed this as speakers tonight, but there are three things I want to mention quickly. One pertains to the city, and that is there are pressures building on city finances that you should identify early and watch. We've lost the privilege license tax. We're trying to replace it. No certainty that we will. In an election year, there's not going to be any talk about tax increases or anything, but this is how the foundation is laid down the road for saying, okay, we can't keep up. And the way to oppose that is either being early, start objecting to stupid spending ideas and so on, and put a lid on. We're depleting some reserves we have. I'm on the budget committee, so I watch all this stuff. We have big deficits in our stormwater and Charlotte water budgets, which are going to need to be made up. So we're looking at proposals that contemplate 6% annual increases for an indefinite period of time in both of those areas. We told the budget committee, go back and think about that some more. We're not going to talk about that. The biggest issue that affects the city and the county is the licensing and permitting process through which developers get approvals to complete their projects. Right now the process is such that they have a window of about 5 months of uncertainty about when they can finish a project as they go back and forth between the city and the county. There's a process going on right now to try to address that, so I'd just like to take this opportunity to ask for cooperation and also to encourage us as elected officials to get involved in that, not just leave it up to the staff.
Right, and Matthew and I have both been involved in code enforcement. We were the first ones to talk about it on television on Flashpoint. And the county is the biggest problem there. And we have serious problems there. But our manager is really working on it, and she's on top of it, and it's getting better. But we still have serious problems, and the main thing is it delays building, which delays jobs, and it costs. And then the county takes advantage of the builders, and they charge them more money. So they say we can't do they should get their permit, and we can't do it, but we can do it if you pay more. We'll do it on Saturday, and it's like we're screwing these people. I'm sorry to say that, but that's what we're doing. And we're taking advantage of the builders, and that adds to the price. So the apartment is now getting more expensive because of this. And they had one thing that was so ridiculous where when you have an apartment complex and they had the electric boxes, usually you have like a clump at 4 and it's here and then here and then here, and it's cheaper that way. And they wanted to change it to put all of the boxes in one place. So that meant it was going to cost a whole lot more money to run the cables much farther. And then I also was concerned about apartments, a wall that big, because usually they have windows, a wall that big to hold all these boxes. And I could think of some kid coming by with a baseball bat. But that was just something that didn't make sense. And so we lobbied hard on that to get that changed, and we did get that, so that they didn't do that. But that was just wasteful. And it just drove up the price for the developers, and it slowed things down so guys couldn't work. And then the developers are spending all this money, and then nothing's happening, and they still got to pay the bills. And then their investors are like, we don't want to deal with Mecklenburg County. So we have serious problems there, but it is getting better. And I do have confidence in our managers on track. But you are right. We have to keep the pressure on. So that was like when I got sworn in in December, I brought that up, that we have to keep talking about code enforcement. So I know I'm off their Christmas card list. I'm sure you are too.
I got a lot of Christmas cards from developers.
The developers like us. But the thing is, if you're trying to close on a house and you've moved out of your other house, and then they say, well, no, it's going to be 3 weeks. That's the kind of stuff that was happening. And then that's a problem for a lot of individuals too, not just developers. But anyway, so we're in agreement with that on code enforcement.
We need to work on that. I'm not going to highlight the fact that it's all the county's fault.
It is big of the county's fault.
I know, but my main interest is just getting something that works, getting a streamlined process, an entrepreneurial attitude on the part of the people and the staff, and move things along. The last point I wanted to make tonight was, like Kenny, I came here basically to express support for my friend Matthew. And some people have asked, why would you want to be in the minority of two? on council. And I can tell you it's very important. And in fact, if you only have 2 people on council that you identify with, it's all the more important who those people are. You're not going to win votes, you're going to change the conversation.
Right.
And that's the key thing. We saw some of that going on Monday night. There was a lot of sidebars and stuff like that. There were people counting heads. And that's why it's critically important that Matthew stay in office for as long as he wants to. And that you do whatever it takes when the time comes to make sure that happens. And Pat, I'd like to thank you also for being here tonight and for your attitude. I think you and I actually have a lot in common from opposite sides of the aisle. As Matthew just said, efficient government and fiscal responsibility, accountability to the public. So you can actually gain a lot of traction. What you don't do is you don't go out and openly confront along partisan lines. You make the case for a point of view. And you argue in such a way that anybody that disagrees with you is a little exposed. And that's what I was trying to do on Monday night. I wanted the people that pushed for this thing to basically answer for it. And in my view, once the bathrooms were taken out, the reason still to oppose it was there was a package there that was being put to us without any opportunity to make any modifications, to make any allowance for the adverse impact it might have on certain people. And it's a strong-arm tactic, and I resented that. They tried to jam us on the whole thing with the bathrooms, then they tried to jam us again on the thing without it. If you want to come to me and say, passenger vehicles for hire, do we really can't we pass an ordinance about that? Yeah, probably. I don't want taxis to go around and refuse to pick people up because of their gender thing. But if the thing that's proposed could have an adverse impact on businesses, or particularly in the case of the bathrooms, given all the fears and concerns that were raised there, we can't allow ourselves to be bludgeoned like that. So again, I hope I identify with you. I try to do a lot of the same things, propose common sense solutions, and change the conversation to get a better result. And you can do that even when you're down 92. So Matthew, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.